It was very impressive. I was actually shocked. I didn't think they could play this way and win a game. They were very good defensively, very stingy, holding them to 35 points in the first half.
Yep.
And then you think about the backcourt. I thought they only could win with Damian Lillard and C.J. McCullough having big nights, or at least one of them having a big night. And
100%.
Neither one of those guys had huge nights. C.J. McCullough made some big buckets in the fourth quarter, but Dame Lillard was kind of non-existent throughout this whole game. They guarded him really, really well. But impressive performance by the whole team. They got 6 guys in double figures. And Rodney Hood, that's 2 games back-to-back where he's played really, really good.
Yes.
And now they seem like they got another, I would say, a third to fourth scorer because Enes Kanter is scoring the ball a little bit more than we expected.
And Rodney Hood, his production has really surprised me because I watched him in the playoffs last year just look like a deer in the headlights with the Cavs. And so Rodney Hood stepping up and being a legitimate bench option. And I have to give credit to Enes Kanter.
Yes.
Because Enes Kanter, I thought, was going to be the weak link in the previous series for Portland against OKC. I thought they'd be able to pick and roll him off the court. It didn't happen. Even though
He's got a lot better on the pick and roll.
He's gotten a lot better. He was arguably the worst post defender in basketball. That's why a guy who can give you, if you give him enough minutes, 20 points and 10 rebounds was not a regular starter in this league. And so I thought OKC would hurt him. Even though I'm not as high on Jokic as most are, I knew Jokic would destroy him. Jokic is so skilled as far as he would be able to manipulate Kanter. Kanter's more than held his own. And so you can win a game where Dame goes 5 of 17, where Dame only hits 1 3. Portland can win a game defensively as they did last night. Now, Denver missed a lot of open threes. I understand that. But Denver made 6 threes, which is terrible. Portland only hit 9. And Portland was in control the entire game. They trailed 7-3 early. And basically from that moment forward, they led the rest of the way.
One thing I got to give Dame credit, because it's really hard to do this. And I watch you play him, man. You go 0 for 10, and the next 3, he still believed that they're going in.
Yeah.
Dame last night, he managed how much he was going to shoot. He didn't shoot him out the game because he didn't have his best game. But with 17 attempts, I mean, he could have shot the ball at least 10 more times to try to force it at the end to try to get hot. So you have to be able to give him credit, because if he doesn't take that backseat and allow these role players to build, because they were playing a lot better. But the most important point is Kanter. And it happened in February when the Knicks decided to release him. Several days later, Portland signs him. You don't know what the future is. But now your center gets hurt with a devastating injury in Nurkic, and now you have a perfect replacement. A guy that's got experience, a guy that offensively will give you that other score in case they're having that bad night. Because last night, for a long period, he was the best player on the court. I mean, he has given them a lift, especially on the offensive end, and is drastically improved on the defensive end. So right now, Portland's not in the position if they don't make that, they don't sign him in February.
And it was even more impressive because you think about the series they come off with OKC, emotional series. Obviously, Dame took that series very personal.
Yes.
Game 1, he still was on fire, getting 39 points, and then you didn't get into the second game, and to be able to calm himself down. I was impressed. I didn't think they could win without him and C.J. McCullough having huge numbers. Their defense was terrific. It wasn't the best basketball we saw. But they did what they had to do. You want to go in there and steal one.
And they won ugly. They won ugly in the hardest place to win in the NBA all year, a team that all season long lost 7 times at home.
If Denver goes into the series thinking if we just stop Damian, we've got a chance, do you like them in this?
No, they got to play better. They got to make some shots. They got to get some different guys to step up for Denver Nuggets. I mean, they make 6 threes. They missed 10 free throws last night, and they out-rebounded. I mean, it was like a ridiculous number, like 69 to 70 rebounds they had. And when they were in 23 offensive rebounds, and still was not able to score. They're going to have to figure it out. I don't know how hurt is Torrey Craig. He's big for them.
He got his nose broke.
Yeah, so I don't know how efficient.
Right,
I don't know how efficient he can be with the series being short and not a lot of rest time. But I like the fact that Portland was able to get a game in there, now go home to their crowd where they play really good basketball. But I thought also, too, let's not forget, I thought Evan Turner was pretty good last night. I thought Zach Collins was really good,
too. And CJ
too.
in the fourth quarter. And if you I read some of the quotes after the game. I didn't see the press conference, but I read them in the game write-up this morning, that CJ said, listen, Dame and I have, sometimes it's spoken, sometimes it's unspoken communication about who's going to be the closer. And Dame could tell he didn't have it going. He could tell I did have it going to a greater degree. So in that fourth quarter, Dame only takes 2 shots. CJ takes 7, scores 8 points. But if I just said before the game that, to your point on the rebounding, Denver was going to have a plus 11 rebounding, but more jarringly, unbelievably, plus 16 offensive rebounding edge. They were going to get 23 offensive rebounds. Dame was going to make 5 shots and score less than 15 points, and they're going to lose to the Blazers in Denver. It's a really impressive, ugly win for Portland that now has home court in this series.
There are 2 times during the game that Dame was able to defer to CJ. In the second quarter, where Portland was able to get a little margin, they were able to pull away from them a little bit. CJ was nice in that quarter. And then in the fourth quarter, where you see Dame took the back seat and was able. This is a huge win for an organization because I've heard some experts pick Portland to the finals. Ultimately against Golden State, who I believe would come out the other side. But, wow, what a franchise that came into, because we talked about them and OKC. Man, whoever loses this series, man, what a long offseason of doubting all the moves, doubting their personnel, and what do they have going forward. So Portland now, with it 1-1, going back, not as tough as Denver.
Right.
But Portland is a tough place to play. It's going to be hard. Can Denver still win there?
And you can just kind of tell Portland's kind of demeanor. Last year getting swept by New Orleans, coming back a lot more focused the way they play against OKC, and then going in there last night. I know it's only the second game, but to get that win, they couldn't win that a couple years ago. And this is a different team now. That backcourt is much, much better than we expect now.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.